Full Zone Media.
It's Behind the Bastards, a podcast hosted by a man who is legally a judge, and his friend Greasy Wil, who is legally greasy. Wil,
legally not allowed to drive anymore.
Yeah.
I've been.
Oh, really? Did that happen?
Yeah. Every time you said Combs with an L, I took a sip over the last 2 episodes.
Sorry.
So now I'm just trashed, man. I hope you've enjoyed this Behind the Bastards drinking game that I have embarked upon.
Mm-hmm. Go back in time and just have like about 14 shots. Yeah. So the late 1990s is an era in which Bad Boy Records is growing by leaps and bounds, and Diddy is getting rich as fuck. We are talking the insane pile. The cash pile's so large that your only option is to either get really into cocaine or start a series of ill-conceived small businesses.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Diddy, I'm sure, does both, actually.
Yeah.
So I had two choices.
No.
I was going to sit in that failure. Or I was going to make a decision to step out of the darkness.
And
more
Diddy,
like into the darkness, buddy.
He steps out of the darkness to launch a restaurant called Justin. This is named after his oldest son. He starts the first Justin in New York City in 1997, and he franchises it out to Atlanta the following year. The New York location shuts down after about a decade. Sean claims because he wanted to find a larger location, but he just never opens a new one. I think it just failed.
This is the story of my mom when she said she was going to build the house on top of the basement that we lived in. And then we just lived in a basement for like 8 years. Good times, Mom. Thanks.
Yeah, this is Diddy's version of that. Now, the Atlanta location hangs on a little while longer. It eventually shuts down in 2012. Why? Here's a summary from an article in BET. In July 2011, Diddy was sued after music executive Tony Austin, a patron of the Atlanta eatery, was shot in the parking lot. Ooh. Austin, former A&R for Def Jam and the president of Russell Simmons Music Group, says he was in his car listening to music with another man when someone opened fire on the vehicle. Austin alleged that the proprietors of Justin's were aware of dangerous and hazardous conditions at the establishment, but failed to provide warning or security. Now,
isn't that something?
Shocking. Shocking.
This is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed human.
Hey everyone, it's Emily Simpson and Shane Simpson from the Legally Brunette podcast.
Each week, we're bringing you true crime through a legal lens.
Whether you want all the facts on the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie, or you still need to wrap your head around the Diddy verdict, we're breaking it all down step by step.
And we're not just lawyers, we're also husband and wife. It makes for some pretty entertaining episodes.
Listen to Legally Brunette on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm Heather Dubrow.
And I'm Terry Dubrow.
And we're going to keep this between us.
Not really. The TMZ guy walks up to me and goes, Terry, what do you think about Bradley Cooper? They asked him and they said he's not had any plastic surgery.
I mean, what's the latest rumor? I'm gay, right? Isn't that the latest rumor?
Yes.
First of all, if I were gay, I would be gay.
Listen to Between Us on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Follow Between Us and start listening on the free iHeartRadio app today.
When segregation was a law, one mysterious black club owner, Charlie Fitzgerald, had his own rules.
Segregation in the day, integration at night.
It was like stepping on another world.
Was he a businessman, a criminal, a hero?
Charlie was an example of power. They had to crush him.
Charlie's Place, from Atlas Obscura and Visit Myrtle Beach. Listen to Charlie's Place on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
On June 11th, 1998, a deputy from the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department went missing.
Hey, if they'll kill a cop and bury him, what are they going to do to me?
What really happened to the missing deputy? Valley of Shadows, a new series from Pushkin Industries about crime and corruption in California's high desert.
Listen to Valley of Shadows on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
When you feel uncomfortable, what do you put on?
Biggie.
You put on Biggie when you feel uncomfortable?
Because I want to get confident.
This is DJ Hester Prynne's Music is Therapy, a new podcast from me, a DJ and licensed therapist. 12 months, 12 areas of your life. money, love, career, confidence. This isn't just a podcast. It's unconventional therapy for your entire year. Listen to DJ Hester Prynne's Music is Therapy on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Now, by the time Justin's opened, Sean had split from Justin's mother to date a model named Kim Porter, who gave him his second son. In 1998, he launched a fashion label, Sean John.
Sean John.
Sean John. Yeah.
Oh, man. And it was the it brand, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That was the shit. It was Boss and Sean John and FUBU, man.
We can say markedly more successful than his restaurant.
Absolutely.
Also, I need to fact check you on the oldest son thing. He has an adopted son who's older named Quincy.
Oh, okay. And his adopted son, who is older, named Quincy. Sure.
Mhm.
Interesting, fascinating name. Now, that year, the year that he starts Sean John, he is nominated for 5 Grammys. If you want to know what a Grammy looks like, just look behind Will and to his right on camera.
The light actually
like
went
that.
off, I guess. But, you know, I wasn't in the mood to turn it back on. I noticed it an episode and a half
You got
ago.
it
but I
fucking
was
backlit. Was the first thing you did with that take a shot out of it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. In fact, I think, you know what? To be fair, this is Behind the Bastards Lore. We should do this on air because, like, you know, it's like, how often-
What else do you do when you get a Grammy? Yeah.
So also true, I need you to understand that when I got this Grammy, I was about to have a kid at the time. I had a bad month where my car, the transmission died. It was just basically my point is I had maybe $500 in my account. I still spent $200 on a bottle of Don Julio.
Priorities are important in life.
So that I could take a shot out of my Grammy.
That's right, folks.
Because that's the only reason to get one of these things.
You did it.
What kind
It
of
was beautiful.
what kind of person gets this to brag to their friends? No, this is to take shots at it because it's funny. Right?
And you're not going to get content like this from the Pod Save America guys. You're not getting it from
not.
the Bulwark. You're not getting it from Last Podcast on the Left. Only Behind the Bastards.
This is basically when Elon smoked a blunt.
And honestly,
on,
maybe
on,
Joe Rogan
on Joe
show.
Rogan,
You might get this on Joe Rogan
you
show.
would
I'm not
get
gonna
this
lie.
on Joe Rogan.
I'm not gonna lie.
Although we would both be racist and one of us have some sex pest crimes behind us.
You would be trying to convince my listeners to, I don't know, inject bleach into their assholes in order to build muscle mass. Yeah.
Eating 600 worms or was it silkworms? Specifically
lots of
silkworms.
silkworms.
Yeah, you have to eat silkworms for your colon health, you know? It's like everybody knows that.
Well, I do actually think you should eat more elk. It's delicious. Now,
elk is delicious. You're
it's
right.
very tasty. Now, so that year, the same year he opened Sean John, he gets nominated for 5 Grammys. Bad Boy pulls in $130 million in revenue.
What year is that?
That is 98.
98.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you know what Grammys those were that he won?
That I don't know. I could have looked that up, but I'm a hack and a fraud. Now, from this point forward in the story, Sean has infinite money, right?
Yes.
Which he still does, basically.
So much
Now, as
money.
I noted last episode, he'd always had a knack for throwing huge media-driven parties, and now that he was actually a major celebrity himself, he kicked things up several notches. 1998 is also the year of his first white party. These were the events where he'd invite piles of celebrities to his mansion in the Hamptons for what inevitably became the big event of the summer. And part of it is he becomes like the first black guy to move into this very rich white neighborhood. The white parties are in part how he kind of makes his neighbors cool with him, is like, hey, you're some lame bank CEO. You can be at this party with these cool people. Yeah.
This is starting to happen in the era of the internet, right? It's like, this is 98. This is like the beginning of the internet where being seen with all these different cool hip people that are big, because the white parties, you see the pictures of them. It's the everybody's of all of entertainment.
Yeah. And everyone wears white because Diddy thought he looked good in white. And to be honest, I don't want to be complimenting the man, but he doesn't look bad. That's not a bad look for him. That's not a bad look for him.
The white parties, legit, it's like a pair of Air Ones, dude. They look good the first time you wear them. And that is white, dude. White is the first time you wear it, it is the most beautiful, pristine, amazing looking thing. Now,
then you
I
have
would
lunch.
say 9:30, 10 p.m., that white starts getting kind of grody, you know?
Yeah. Well, and part of what I love is you can really see the whole, he is, part of the point of these parties is for people who are rich but not very cool to get to feel cool. Look at some of the people
100%.
below him, like that guy in the front, they're just wearing white t-shirts. You don't look like a rap star. You get this wild mix of beautiful people and also sometimes beautiful people looking just like normal weirdos at a party, but which I always think is really interesting. You've got but part of it is because These first white parties are from the era before, like, there's no social media, so there's no social media filters. Photoshop tools aren't as easy to use. So you get a lot of shots of famous people actually looking like normal people at a party. Like, here's Leo DiCaprio and some other dudes drinking champagne, smoking cigarettes, and like not particularly looking like they're crazy rich and famous. Like, Leo looks like a pretty normal fucking dude
for
there.
sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And then Sophie's going to show you next. Regis Philbin. Yeah,
Hey,
there's a
Regis.
photo of Regis Philbin, and I can only describe the look on his face. He looks like he is smiling like the devil. Like he, like you would cast him in Needful Things. He is selling you a cursed Victrola. That's how Regis looks in this photo.
Oh my God.
And there's a couple other middle-aged white dudes in there, one of whom is grabbing a young woman's arm in a way that I would say looks kind of off-putting to me, but I don't know what was going on.
Is that Vera Wang?
Is that
though?
Vera
Like,
Wang? He's huh?
the wedding
I don't-
dress designer? I can't tell.
I don't
from
know.
That. It's
Some-
kind of grainy.
All of these people are rich. Some of them are famous.
Yeah.
I don't think that bald guy got famous for being a hip hop star.
The only poor people at these parties were the people catering it, and you know,
and the people being sex trafficked. Yeah,
and sex trafficked.
God,
yeah,
look
yeah.
at Regis. Regis is like, I'm not touching anybody.
He's smiling
My
like the devil.
hands-
Yeah.
My hands are to myself.
You can see both of my hands. I ain't fucking up this. What was it? Was it He Wants to Be a Millionaire at this point?
I
Yeah.
wish that we could just really see,
God, Reed.
like if there was like guilt aura around every person that existed in this picture, like green to red, and in a scale of colors, and the redder you are, the guiltier you are as a human being. Because
Ooh, yeah, that's going to be a fascinating shade above that crowd there. Everyone's going to have an aura that looks like the drink of the guy on the left, which is red.
You are
for the
just as
listeners.
likely to be completely innocent in one of those pictures.
Well, and here's the thing.
as
the
you are
white
to be
parties,
complicit in all the bullshit he did.
there are definitely, especially at the end, at the after parties, the night parts, which not everyone stays for, there are definitely some sex crimes here. These are not the Diddy parties where most of the sex trafficking and crimes are
definitely
happening.
should be mentioned that these are two different events. Like
There's
that
a reason for it. The white parties are his PR. This is where he goes
They're
to
his
so that
legitimacy into the rich
Yes.
white community, like the Hamptons and all that bullshit, but also, you know, like their legitimacy into the black community as well.
Right. And that is the point of these. And so these are largely less sketchy events for that reason. And it is his, he has another kind of party with another name that we'll be talking about. That is where most of it, I'm not saying like there's no sex crimes happening here. There's definitely drugs. But the fact that someone was at a white party doesn't mean that they committed sex crimes. So I'm not saying Regis Philbin is a sex pest. I don't know Regis. Maybe there have been allegations against him. If so, then I guess I am, but I don't know that. But these are his show parties, and he's a lot more careful about what happens here. The other parties, the parties you have heard stories about with the baby oil and the sex crimes, are what he called his freak-off parties. Like a dance-off, but, you know, with your freak.
Yeah, get your freak on.
Yeah.
I shouldn't laugh. They're dark.
They're dark. These are the sex crime parties. If someone went to a freak off, you should assume they did some bad stuff.
Yes. In almost every single one of these stories, there is a victim. There is very little willing participants of these things. Like, even the people who are willing participants might be coerced willing participants.
Yeah.
It's very murky with a lot of the stuff that goes on. A lot of power.
Blurred lines, you could say. Yeah.
Yeah. There. And again, this is definitely the place where we start talking about where blurred lines.
Blurred lines, and people are also just doing lines. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, definitely. He wasn't explicitly making me do this, but I knew that I could not say no type shit. And that is very, very strong in the Diddy story, for sure.
And another big part of it is, because there's different gradients of cases, a lot of these people are like, well, yeah, I said yes, and I agreed, and nobody threatened me, but also I was there because I had just gotten started in this industry, and I'm in front of the guy who could make my career. And, like, I didn't think I had any other like, these are also some of the things that are happening.
I mean, we're into now the beginning of the Justin Bieber territory, which is like very much the Usher situation between Puffy and Usher, and then Usher and Justin Bieber, and Justin Bieber. And there is a lot of like questionable interactions, like Justin Bieber spending a weekend at Puffy's house at like 12 years old or something like that. There's like some weird activity that happened that at the time we saw it happen, and we were like,
huh.
Yeah, okay, you know, like, but like everybody now is definitely able to look at those situations and be like, that's actually, that's weird, you know. But the 90s, Hey, let's be fair.
It was the early 2000s, you know, when we're talking about
whatever,
Bieber.
man.
It's probably
Yeah, it was
fine for
actually-
12-year-old Justin Bieber to be at Diddy's house.
Who am I to judge?
Who are we to judge? We should have judged.
Yeah, we should have judged. We should have been
Now,
judging.
at the white parties, like the most intense photo I've seen is Sean pouring champagne over what the New York Post describes as two unidentified near-naked women. It doesn't look nearly as sketchy as they describe it. The Post and a lot of other tabloid coverage of these events does tend towards sensationalism about the wrong things. For example, this piece from September. Inside Sean Diddy Combs' Hampton sex parties featuring gay rappers who were high on ketamine. And like, you and I have both been to parties with gay rappers high on ketamine. That's not the problem.
Yeah, not at all.
That some gay rappers are doing ketamine. That's not what's the issue
In fact,
here.
some would say that was the best part of the party. You know?
yeah, those gay rappers probably not committing sex crimes.
Not at
although
all.
maybe.
Sometimes, you know, but the point is, here's the thing: is like those white parties, those were press events. You don't have press at sex crime parties. You have press at the events
unless
where you're
they're
gonna be
committing sex crimes.
Right? Yeah, unless you that's part of the blackmail. You know?
Yeah.
But like, not that the two Venn diagram circles didn't interconnect.
Yeah.
But without it, it's like you don't invite the press to the parties where you're going to do the bad shit.
No, because he's not stupid. That's why he got away with this for so long. Now, I'm not sure how seriously to take this Post article, which has its source as just one anonymous coke dealer, which again, not necessarily the most credible people on the planet. But here's a quote. The dealer said Diddy opened the door to his former Hamptons mansion while wearing nothing but a robe and brought him to a back bedroom to make a cocaine deal. Weird shit was starting to happen. Celebrity guys fucking each other. There were back bedrooms, and it was like the inner sanctum. And this dealer talks about it like, I lost a lot of respect for those guys. He is not talking about the sex. He's talking about like just people having gay sex.
Gay sex, yeah.
Famous people fucking each other in a gay way, which is like fine. That's not the issue
not
here.
Like the representatives to be talking about any of this stuff, but as far as I have ever experienced inside of like the hip hop culture of America, it has only recently become taboo to say the F slur. It's not like that was an insult for most of the 2000s. You know, it's like it did not until like 2015 feel like it fell off the radar for that to be part of like your insult to another person is that they have gay sex with a person. So it's like, certainly there is a vested interest in not publicizing this and people not knowing that it exists.
Could be very dangerous.
And this being
for some
a
of these
secret
people.
of because you would be looked at differently, especially at this time, but even now you would be looked at differently for these types of actions.
And there's, the dealer claims he also saw a mix of female rappers and prostitutes having sex there. And that's kind of where we do get into, because again, there's probably some trafficking at the white parties.
Sure.
And it's unclear to me, is he talking about a white party or a freak off? It's at the Hamptons. A little bit unclear, but we'll get to that later.
Real quick on that same point, I just want to say at any event, right, whether you are in fact a prostitute or not, like there is a certain amount of hiring of females to be at a party to be overly friendly to the people at the party, right?
Yes.
It's very good to look like there's a lot of beautiful women here, for sure. But also for the people that come to these things, they want to feel like there's girls that are there that are interested in them. This happens all the way from the normal Hollywood club type event all the way up to these parties. So it's not like when you talk about the sex trafficking element of all of these things, like it may be somewhat innocent, but there's always an element of like hiring women to be morally available in ways at parties,
Yeah, absolutely. Now, in 1999, Diddy was arrested on felony charges of assault and criminal mischief. The chain of events began when Diddy was featured in the music video Hate Me Now with Nas. Both Diddy and Nas were crucified on a cross, which Diddy later decided was sacrilegious and asked to have cut. That's his line!
Yes.
That's his line!
Crazy.
Yes. That's where he calls it, hey man, do not portray me as Jesus being crucified on a cross. Although I'm not going to lie, 12-year-old me or whatever it was, I thought that was the bangingest video I ever seen in my life. Like, I remember that coming out, and I remember seeing it. It was on TRL, and I remember my mind being blown. Just like, oh my God, they crucified them? That's so sacrilegious. So, to be fair, as a Roman Catholic kid growing up in Pennsylvania in the 90s, I did kind of think, yeah, that, holy shit, that was sacrilegious. Like, perspective is a very important piece of this whole thing. And in the 90s, that was sacrilegious as hell, you know?
Yeah,
like that was some
absolutely.
like Marilyn Manson level of sacrilege going on inside of the community.
Oh, man. So that's what flips him out. And when he decides like, hey, cut this out, and then they air the unedited version anyway. Yeah. And when the version with him being crucified airs, he blames the president of Interscope Records, Steve Stout. And he bursts into Stout's office with some goons and assaults him with, quote, a chair, a telephone, and a champagne bottle. Stout said of the beating, 1 minute I'm in the middle of a meeting, and the next minute I'm down on the floor, and Puffy and his guys are kicking and pounding me. One of them picks up a chair and throws it at me. Then Puffy throws my desk over, and they just walk out like nothing happened. And his stance is, I think they were trying to kill me, and I just, happened to not die. I don't know. I wasn't there. He seems to say it was very serious. Combs turned himself in a few days later and was charged with felony assault. He was freed on $15,000 bail and ultimately pled down to a misdemeanor. His sentence was 1 day of court-ordered anger management. Oh, Jesus. That's what hundreds of millions of dollars gets you in lawyers.
Yeah, man. That's the thing, is like money is the savior of all problems.
Yeah, nearly all. Like, as with Epstein, you can eventually hit a line. Speaking of hitting a line, my line is it's time for ads. So here you go.
On June 11th, 1998, a deputy from the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department went missing.
It's an all-out manhunt for John Auger. Every search and rescue team in LA County has been called in to help.
Within days, tips started flooding into the sheriff's department.
The rumor around the drug scene was that a deputy was taken care of.
Is this the story of a man who just got lost in the desert? Or of a cover-up inside the nation's largest sheriff's department?
A homicide captain saying, "Detective, do not find out if this guy's guilty or innocent." Who does that?
Valley of Shadows, a new series from Pushkin Industries about crime and corruption in California's high desert.
Do you have any advice for us while looking into this disappearance?
I wouldn't do it alone.
Listen to Valley of Shadows on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Segregation in the day, integration at night.
When segregation was the law, one mysterious black club owner had his own rules.
We didn't worry about what went on outside. It was like stepping in another world.
Inside Charlie's Place, black and white people danced together. But not everyone was happy about it.
You saw the KKK?
Yeah, they were dressed up in their uniform.
The KKK set out to raid Charlie, take him away from here.
Charlie was an example of power. They had to crush him.
From Atlas Obscura, Rococo Punch, and Visit Myrtle Beach comes Charlie's Place, a story that was nearly lost to time. Until now. Listen to Charlie's Place on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
This is Ryder Strong with a podcast called The Red Weather.
In 1995, my neighbor, Anna Trainer, disappeared from a commune.
It was nature and trees and praying and drugs.
So no, I am not your guru.
And back then, I lied to everybody.
They have had this case for 30 years.
I'm going back to my hometown to uncover the truth. You can now binge all episodes of The Red Weather on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Ever feel like you're being chased by the marriage police? Welcome to Boys and Girls, the podcast where dating isn't dating. Arranged Marriage is basically a reality show, except the contestants are strangers and your entire family is judging. You're sipping coffee with one maybe, grabbing dinner with another, and praying your karmic Ken or Barbie appears before your shelf life runs out. Trust me, I've been through this ancient and unshakable tradition. I jumped in hoping to find love the right way, and instead I found chaos, cringe, and comedy. And now I'm looking for healing. Boys and Girls dives into every twist and turn of the arranged marriage carousel. The meet awkward, the near misses, the heartbreak, and let's not forget all the jokes. Listen to Boys and Girls on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Almost 30 years together, 4 kids, and some of reality TV's most unforgettable moments, we know a thing or two about living life out loud. We're taking you behind the scenes in our new podcast, Between Us, with me, Heather Dubrow.
And me, Terry Dubrow. Between Us isn't about perfect lighting or curated Instagram grids.
It's the unfiltered, behind-closed-doors conversations you wish you could eavesdrop on. Equal parts smart, funny, and a little bit scandalous.
Every week, Heather will bring you an unapologetic take on the headlines, the trends, and the cultural moments everyone's texting about.
And Terry will deliver insider beauty, health, and wellness insights you won't find on TikTok.
Together, we'll tell the stories, spill the secrets, and share the hacks that keep life, marriage, and everything in between feeling fresh and fun.
We may live in a gated community, but there's zero gatekeeping here.
And plenty of did they just say that moments?
Listen to Between Us on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
And we're back. So, 3 months after he assaults this record executive, Combs goes out to a Manhattan nightclub with Jennifer Lopez, who he was dating at the time. The couple were partying when someone else at the club insulted Diddy and threatened his protege, a rapper named Shine. A write-up in The Independent summarizes what happens next in the kind of voice that you usually use for, like, the Israeli military or cops. A dispute ensued, shots were fired, and 3 bystanders were injured, including a woman who was shot in the face. Combs fled in a Lincoln Navigator with J-Lo, his bodyguard, and his driver, along with a stolen gun none of them had a license for, as cops found out when they stopped the car. Combs was found not guilty in March 2001 of 4 counts of illegal possession of a gun and 1 count of bribery after a trial that doubled as a media spectacle. Proving what a force the rapper had become, fans turned up at the courthouse for 7 weeks, and workers at the building, upon his acquittal, threw open the windows to chant his name and leave him alone. Must be nice.
I mean, you know, we have this amazing celebrity worship culture in our country. It's just inevitable all the time, right? It's like we will, no matter who, find some sort of martyr or savior or just God in whatever exists inside celebrity. We're happy to have that. We're happy to have somebody that we can go to a courthouse on our day off of work.
And cheer when they get off after probably shooting a woman in the face.
Probably shooting
someone. It's one of those. One of the things that's amazing is that, like, if you read that, like, a dispute ensued, shots were fired. Diddy is so rich at this point that he has become included by journalists in the special exonerative grammatical case that only normally it's like for cops, right? Shots were fired. Someone was hit. There was a gun, an unregistered illegal gun in his possession. Okay.
It's just so funny, man.
Amazing.
The whole situation, there's still a lot of, like,
what happened exactly.
The story gets really convoluted. There's stuff coming out right now about it, you know, that it's been 20 years and we're still just now getting, like, the pieces that come out about stuff about, like, oh, this actually happened or this person was involved. So it's definitely a bit of, like, you know, lost to time. And the whole concept of how unreliable human beings are at, like, recounting things that have happened to them, even completely sober with no issues, not at a club at 2:00 in the morning in New York, you know.
I have clear procedural memories of about 30% of our friendship, Will.
It's all flashes.
It's like all flashes. It's moments.
It's a Polaroid picture in my head
parking lot.
Turns out.
So Combs thanked God after the verdict and made a big show of going to church after. To further separate himself from the event, he changed his name officially to P. Diddy, telling Vanity Fair, "When I changed names, I put periods on those eras." And the P. Diddy era I love that. Got off from a fucking club shooting, time to become P. Diddy. The P. Diddy era was lucrative indeed. He released more albums, he acted in several movies, and he started producing reality television. He, gets that Ciroc vodka deal.
Right, yeah, this is
Mobile.
Danity Kane era, right?
Yep.
Making the band.
Yep, making the band.
In 2002, he won awards for his menswear fashion line. Sean John did cause a minor scandal for him when it was found that the clothing he sold was made in Honduran sweatshops with a terrible record for workers' rights.
It happens, doesn't it?
It happens.
You're gonna try and get that cost.
Gotta
of
be some
production
sweatshops.
down.
Yeah,
gonna have to sweatshop.
Mm-hmm. None of that kept him down for long. In 2004, he performed at the Super Bowl. He started his famous Vote or Die campaign that election season.
Oh, man, that was huge. If you were a teenager in the 90s, you
P.
definitely
Diddy was
saw
telling you to vote.
Yep, P. Diddy was recommending people to you.
Yeah, money continued to flow by the hundreds of millions. As the Bush years came to an end, P. Diddy changed his name yet again, this time dropping the P and becoming just Diddy.
Diddy.
His white parties remained infamous social events, but he also held increasing numbers of freak-offs. These were not for public consumption and acted as an opportunity for him to provide himself and his celebrity friends with endless young women, drugs, and young women on drugs.
Ew.
This brings me to the story of LaTroya Grayson, who at age 23 won tickets via a radio show to attend a Diddy party. Her only recollections of the event were meeting Mary J. Blige, having a drink, and then blacking out because, again, she was drugged. She has hazy memories of 3 or 4 guys she didn't know taking her out of the room. She woke up in the hospital very ill and vomiting until she was released several hours later. Quote, I left with no shoes on. My shirt was kind of ripped. I noticed all my money was taken out of my purse except for like $20. I got robbed for my money. I had just enough to get back to a motel in a cab.
It's so fucked up. Like, these people are also not wealthy people. They're doing this because they don't have money in the first place.
She won a contest on the radio.
And then you get robbed anyway?
At Diddy's party. Now, she also says she realized afterwards that her vagina was sore. She's not certain what happened because, again, she was drugged.
Drugged, yeah.
Almost certainly not a good story. Yeah.
I don't remember half the things that happened to me yesterday half sober,
Yeah.
Like, literally, they found baby oil with GHB in it. Like,
Yeah.
They weren't fucking around up in that place.
Horrible.
In the wake of all of this, I've read a ton of stories of people that have recounted like their Diddy situation, and so many of them like induced with drugs in the most despicable ways, the unexpected ways, the not even drinking ways, like the I had a soda ways, like not crossing even a boundary of alcohol, and it's like to see this shit happen to people, it's like it's targeted and mean and shitty. It's like it's
evil.
This like, yes, it's evil. It is evil. I'm not a God person, but it's evil. It's like going after people that are just living normal lives and trying to survive.
This person won a contest.
A contest to hang.
And this
exactly.
this is how it ended. Like, that's disgusting, vile evil.
Yes, it's horrible. It's like the type of shit that you're like, what the fuck?
And I'm not done with the story, unfortunately.
more.
I'm going to read next from an article on MSN. After the incident, Grayson flew back to her home state, Oklahoma, and claims to have received an unsettling phone call the next day in which a female allegedly attempted to dissuade Grayson from speaking up regarding the ordeal. She recounted the anonymous woman's warning. She had all my information and was basically telling me that I couldn't do anything about it, that Puff Daddy was a famous person and I wouldn't get anywhere with the issue if I tried to do anything. Puzzled, Grayson queried, so I'm like, well, how did you even get my phone number? Do you know anything about my money being missing? She's like, no, I don't know nothing about that. I'm like, well, I mean, how did you even get my phone number?
Brutal, man. It's just so dark, dude. This
it's
type of
fucking
manipulation.
hideous.
The power dynamic, as someone who has been in the industry, right? It's like even people that
you're like a teenager, 20-year-old girl, whatever, from fucking Oklahoma with no money, and he is goddamn P. Diddy.
Let me put this in perspective for people for real. Like,
yeah.
All right, I was going into the music industry. I was a 26-year-old male, 6 foot tall, 185 pounds, in the pretty decent shape, you know,
with combat experience.
Because I was an ex-Marine with combat experience who had been shot 28 times. And I felt pressure from people at times. I felt pressured to do things that I didn't want to do at times, you know?
Yeah.
So in perspective of like being just like a naive person trying to get into the music industry, like young, like no real harsh life experience, it is easy to see that you could be asked to do something, be put in positions that you don't want to be in, and how far people will make you go just because you're afraid, because you're like actually believe that you have power that I don't understand.
And we're talking about the people who know something was done to them and who have spoken out about it. For every one of these, not only are there are people who haven't spoken up, but there are also people who may be years away from like actually coming to grips with, no, actually that was bad. That was like really fucked up what happened. I even thought about it as like a good thing for a while, or at least like a mixed thing bag for me, but like, no, that was actually really like there's people coming to terms with that right now still.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Grayson is not yet part of any of the ongoing lawsuits against Sean, but her case represents the edge of how women were victimized at his events, right? In that she's not entirely sure what happened or even if she was sexually assaulted, because, again, drugged. But the well-lit photos full of celebrities existed for one purpose, to burnish Sean's image. In order to keep his famous and wealthy friends happy and to sate his own desires, he also had to bring in, as you stated, all of these young women to be to act as party favors, right? That's how you have these radio contests. Some of them are paid sex workers. Some of them are women. Okay, you've just gotten started in your career, you know, in the music industry or as a model. You're at a low level in it right now. Why don't you like come over to this party? You know, like why don't you, you know, and then you get there and then you get coerced. Some of the women at these parties are paid sex workers, but many of them are like, women are being poached in one way or another, right? There's a different method for all of them. And that means Diddy's not handling this himself. Right. He has a team of people who are using different methods constantly to find women because these parties are happening constantly.
This is the 1970s equivalent of the roadie who picks the girls out of the concert, you know, that look like they're down.
More people than work at the company Sophie and I run. Their job is just to keep young women coming to these parties. Absolutely. He is spending God knows how many millions of dollars a year on just that part of it.
Right. And it shows even when he was busted in Florida, I believe it was like he had a drug mule with him at the time. It was like he was always employing people to be the bad guy in the situation.
Right. You have someone right ahead of you with the drugs. Yeah.
Yes. You give that shit to somebody else. That's their problem. If they get caught, you have accepted. You are the one that goes to jail. You say, yes, this is mine, and you go to jail. That's the accepted position of that person, for sure.
Yeah. Precious Muir, a former Playboy model, was one of the women who attended a number of his parties. She claims that he provided a car service to drive models to and from the events, and that Diddy had agents basically picking women out in public and plying them with invites. She summarized the pitch one of these guys gave her as, I host these amazing parties. Everything is taken care of. You don't have to worry about anything. We provide accommodations. So when you go to the Hamptons, there is a house you can stay at, which is very beautiful, very lavish, very stylish. And you don't have to worry about anything. You don't have to pay for anything. Everything is covered. At the time she started attending, Precious was new to the industry without power or connections. Being invited to these parties seemed like the opportunity of a lifetime. You can impress these guys, make your career, and then you're just kind of, as she said, we were kind of thrown in at the deep end amongst all these people that are well established. People automatically knew that we were new faces, we were new talent, and we were vulnerable. We were seen maybe as fresh meat.
The power of influence, the power of being able to change your life in a moment.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like we have 1,000 of these stories. We have 1,000 of Bone Thugs in the studio. One woman came in and sang the hook, and it was the moment of her. Like, that's the thing that keeps that shit going, is the dream.
If you're in entertainment, I can say, like, when I was new in my career, if I had to do something horrible for myself and my brain and body in order to get a break as a writer when I was a baby writer, right. Like, I thought about it. Like, I was like, yeah, I'll do anything, right? Like, that's where your head is if you're trying to break in. And that's why so much bad stuff happens, right?
Right.
Like,
it's the hardest. I mean, the reward is so great, right? The reward of being, like, at the top of this industry is so great that it is really hard to deny that there is, like, when you want it that bad, right? You want it bad enough to put in 80 hours, 100 hours a week doing it.
Yeah.
Right? you also want it bad enough to like cross some lines every now and then.
Yeah.
You know, and it's difficult to
does
face
it matter
those moments.
like what happens to me? Right. Yeah.
Right. Everybody goes through that thing. It's like, okay, I'm fine as long as it just fucks me up. Right?
Yeah.
Like that's really the thing. It's just gonna fuck me up. Like I can
take some trauma.
Yeah, I can take some trauma. That dude, everybody that's been in this industry for real knows that. It's fine if it's fucking me up. Now, I have had my own moments of like, no, I won't watch you fuck somebody else up.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I won't watch you do this to another person.
Yeah. And the problem is that there's just so many people who don't have that line, right?
Of course. Yeah. The line is also, I'll let you fuck me up. You know, like I'll let you ruin me. Yeah. And so it's like, as long as no one else is seeing that, it's okay.
Yeah. So, because of the nature of how the lawsuits are coming out over this, I have no choice but to jump around. So I'm just going to say right now, in February of 2024, a record producer named Rodney Jones Jr. filed a federal complaint against Sean, accusing him of running a human trafficking network to stalk his parties with women and girls. From a write-up in Vulture, according to Jones, as he alleges in the complaint, Combs reached out to Jones in 2022 to help him produce songs, but Jones claims the work Combs required of him went far beyond producing music. He claims in the lawsuit that he was tasked with procuring drugs and soliciting sex workers to perform sex acts to the pleasure of Mr. Combs. Jones alleges that Combs also required him to tape these sex acts and that Combs would often threaten to inflict bodily harm on him if he did not comply with his demands. Jones alleged in his complaint that Combs kept specific bottles of alcohol designated for females on hand, and, according to Mr. Jones, Mr. Combs forced all the women to drink laced De Leon liquor. Upon information and belief, Mr. Combs laced the liquor with ecstasy, the lawsuit claims. He also accuses Combs of sexual harassment and assault for allegedly grabbing him without his consent and forcing him to work while Combs paraded around naked. Jones also alleges that Combs once left him alone in a makeshift studio on a yacht with Cuba Gooding Jr.
Cuba Gooding Jr., goddammit! I have been twitching with anticipation.
Yeah, here's where Cuba comes in.
God damn it, Cuba Gooding Jr. Oh my God, dude. The fucking Cuba Gooding Jr. If you start to know,
he gropes the guy, folks.
He is the worst. Cuba Gooding Jr. If you are watching on YouTube right now or whatever,
what else is going on in your life, Cuba?
I have been twitching, waiting for Cuba Gooding Jr.'s name to come out of your mouth because goddamn Cuba Gooding Jr., the disgusting piece of shit, Cuba Gooding Jr. Spend 10 minutes of your life and read about what Cuba Gooding Jr. did to this guy. And then follow that up with a cursory, the slightest Google search of anything else he's done. That guy is the biggest piece of shit that has ever existed.
If you've ever wondered, like we all did for a period of time, after he won that Oscar, why hasn't he been anything? Because he's a fucking monster.
Because he's a monster. Because he's a fucking monster. This is my Hannibal Buress, Bill Cosby moment. Fucking Cuba Gooding Jr. is a monster, and we need to enact laws and federal goddamn statutes against this person. He is a horrible human being, and what he has done to the world is disgusting.
Take the sanctions off of Cuba the country and put them onto Cuba the guy.
Immediately.
That's what we gotta do.
You know who he did play, though?
Radio?
He played fucking O.J. Simpson in that.
He did play O.J. And to be honest,
he was killed.
You mean he played O.J. in the TV show where Ross from Friends played Rob Kardashian.
Right.
One of your favorite things.
One of my favorite things. Juice!
Dude, it breaks my heart every time I think about that thing because, like, oh, God, Cuba Gooding Jr. is a horrible human being. He did horrible things.
Yeah.
And somehow
knocks it out of the park as OJ.
Knocks it out of the park. No, but has managed to evade all of this puffy shit.
Hopefully that's coming to an end now because stuff about him, more stuff is coming out about him. You know, we could talk more about Q, but I think we've made our point clear.
He'll get his own episode. Give it time.
Yeah. Combs' lawyers have denied the allegations and described Jones as a con man. Subsequent allegations and the federal indictment against Combs seem to back up a number of the allegations made by Jones. A few months before Jones filed that complaint in February, in December of 2023, a Jane Doe filed a lawsuit in Manhattan alleging that she was gang raped and trafficked by Combs and Bad Boy Records president Harvey Pierre when she was in the 11th grade. These allegations comport with the scenario Precious Muir described in her interview with The Mirror. Apparently, Pierre met this 11th grader at a lounge in Detroit and used Diddy's name to draw her in. Combs then approached and told her, hey, you're welcome on my private jet, which was flying to his studio. Once they were there, she was given lots of drugs and, quote, gang raped by Combs, Pierre, and an unknown third person. There are a lot of other hideous details that I'm leaving out because we don't. You know, I think the term gang rape
Make
gets
no
it
mistake,
across.
this is a story that repeats itself dozens and dozens of times across every single
many
accusation
children, too.
to the point where it starts to be like, oh my God, we missed Jimmy Savile for like 60 years. We didn't see it.
He's getting his episode soon, too. Don't you worry.
We missed it all? Oh, man.
Turns out we almost always do. Yeah.
Yeah, we miss it a lot of times, turns out.
Yeah.
We're not as brilliant as we think we are. The rumors abounded. There was tons of it. Like you hear it all the time, but you just make the decisions to keep yourselves out of those situations.
On a smaller scale, just being, I've been in comedy. I was a Jace. I was never a big stand-up guy, but like I did a little and a lot of my friends did. I went out to regular events as I was employed in comedy, and like you just get told by people. You meet someone and they'll be like, oh, we should hang out. And then someone else will be like, don't hang out with him.
Yeah.
He's
don't
fucking,
don't hang out with that guy.
It's usually a woman that you work with who will say like, that guy's a piece of shit. You don't want to know him. That guy's a piece of shit. You don't want to know him. That guy's a piece like that,
Yeah, right. And I said that earlier too. It's like that old crusty dude that's like, hey man, don't work with that guy. You don't
want to be near
that.
You
hear
fucker.
the stories for a long time before you're ever asked to do the things, and but the problem comes when you don't hear the stories. The problem comes when you are new to town and you're the first person to sit down and somebody's like, hey man,
fucking Oklahoma, right? And getting flown in. Yeah.
All you know is the reputation of that person that exists in the tabloids or on the internet. You don't know the story about, hey man, don't go to those parties because it's not good. It's
bad shit. In 2006, Diddy's longtime partner, Kim Porter, gave birth to twins. That was the same year that a friend gave birth to his daughter, Chance. Kim considered this a betrayal and broke things off with Diddy. While all this was going on, he was also starting a quote-unquote relationship with a young woman named Cassandra Ventura. He had signed her to his label at age 19 and started a sexual relationship with her shortly thereafter. He was 37 at the time. It was Cassandra's allegations against him that would eventually open the floodgates of legal consequences for Diddy. But before we get to that, I'm going to quote from The Independent summarizing just a series of his trials in the mid-aughts. 8 months after his 2014 Howard commencement speech, TMZ reported that he punched Drake in a Miami nightclub because of a feud over a song, which, in a rare case for these episodes, points for Diddy on that. 6 months later, he was arrested and charged in California with 3 counts of assault with a deadly weapon, 1 count of making terrorist threats, and 1 count of battery after allegedly attacking one of his son's football coaches at UCLA. The assault reportitly involved a kettlebell, but prosecutors ultimately decided not to pursue felony charges.
Because his son, Justin, tried to play. By the way, his son Justin's not big enough to play football. But oh my God.
You got to do something real bad for me to be on the side of a football coach, guys. Anyway, speaking of football coaches, coach yourself on over to this podcast. Sorry, I don't know why I did that.
You were almost there.
Worse for that.
We've been at this a while.
On June 11th, 1998, a deputy from the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department went missing.
It's an all-out manhunt for John Auger. Every search and rescue team in LA County has been called in to help.
Within days, tips started flooding into the sheriff's department.
The rumor around the drug scene was that a deputy was taken care of.
Is this the story of a man who just got lost in the desert? Or of a cover-up inside the nation's largest sheriff's department?
A homicide captain saying, "Detective, do not find out if this guy's guilty or innocent." Who does that?
Valley of Shadows, a new series from Pushkin Industries about crime and corruption in California's high desert.
Do you have any advice for us while looking into this disappearance?
I wouldn't do it alone.
Listen to Valley of Shadows on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
This is Ryder Strong with a podcast called The Red Weather.
In 1995, my neighbor, Anna Trainer, disappeared from a commune.
It was nature and trees and praying and drugs.
So no, I am not your guru.
And back then, I lied to everybody.
They have had this case for 30 years.
I'm going back to my hometown to uncover the truth. You can now binge all episodes of The Red Weather on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Segregation in the day, integration at night.
When segregation was the law, one mysterious black club owner had his own rules.
We didn't worry about what went on outside. It was like stepping in another world.
Inside Charlie's Place, black and white people danced together. But not everyone was happy about it.
You saw the KKK?
Yeah, they was dressed up in their uniform.
The KKK set out to raid Charlie, take him away from here.
Charlie was an example of power. They had to crush him.
From Atlas Obscura, Rococo Punch, and Visit Myrtle Beach comes Charlie's Place, a story that was nearly lost to time. Until now. Listen to Charlie's Place on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Ever feel like you're being chased by the marriage police? Welcome to Boys and Girls, the podcast where dating isn't dating. Arranged marriage is basically a reality show, except the contestants are strangers and your entire family is judging. You're sipping coffee with one maybe, grabbing dinner with another, and praying your karmic Ken or Barbie appears before your shelf life runs out. Trust me, I've been through this ancient and unshakable tradition. I jumped in hoping to find love the right way, and instead I found chaos, cringe, and comedy. And now I'm looking for healing. Boys and Girls dives into every twist and turn of the arranged marriage carousel. The meet awkward, the near misses, the heartbreak, and let's not forget all the jokes. Listen to Boys and Girls on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Almost 30 years together, 4 kids, and some of reality TV's most unforgettable moments, we know a thing or two about living life out loud. We're taking you behind the scenes in our new podcast, Between Us, with me, Heather Dubrow.
And me, Terry Dubrow. Between Us isn't about perfect lighting or curated Instagram grids.
It's the unfiltered, behind-closed-doors conversations you wish you could eavesdrop on. Equal parts smart, funny, and a little bit scandalous.
Every week, Heather will bring you an unapologetic take on the headlines, the trends, and the cultural moments everyone's texting about.
And Terry will deliver insider beauty, health, and wellness insights you won't find on TikTok.
Together, we'll tell the stories, spill the secrets, and share the hacks that keep life, marriage, and everything in between feeling fresh and fun.
We may live in a gated community, but there's zero gatekeeping here.
And plenty of did they just say that moments?
Listen to Between Us on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
And we're back and finishing up the epic tale.
Epic tale of Gilgamesh and P. Diddy.
Are we going to get into the Cassie stuff now?
We are. We're going to get into the Cassie stuff now.
God.
Yes. Cassie,
brutal.
who was for a while his Enkidu, if we're doing the Gilgamesh. Anyway, whatever. Let's talk Cassandra. After his split from Kim Porter, she was the woman largely seen as Diddy's public partner, right? She was a singer and a model in her own right.
Super talented.
Very talented. The two are generally depicted in media as like a power couple, right?
Sure.
In a civil lawsuit filed earlier this year, Miss Ventura claims that from the beginning, Sean used his wealth and power to force her into a, quote, manipulative and coercive romantic and sexual relationship. He assaulted her constantly, beating and kicking her and regularly leaving, quote, black eyes, bruises, and blood. Cassandra describes his freak-offs in her lawsuit and alleged that he would often secretly film the days of debauchery with his famous friends. The videotapes doubled as fuel for extortion if anyone crossed him, which is part of why his social circle was so loyal and so quiet for so long, right? He has videos of them doing the crimes. Again, the movie Don't Blink really does cover a lot of this. And as a bonus, has Christian Slater, and that's never a bad time.
Yeah, Christian Slater's amazing, man.
He's fucking great. Yeah.
I love him, dude. I love that guy.
Yeah.
It's dark, man. It like this. Yeah. Do you talk about the fact that Kim Porter also dies? Did we
Yes,
touch that?
at age 47. That hasn't happened yet, though. I mean, it's happened.
There's a
in
lot
real
of
life, but not
like
in the timeline.
where it gets to the point where it's like, God, dude, like the people around you.
So many things.
Yeah,
happen.
there's just too many things. The Kid Cudi explosion, like of his car, where he sets his car.
Yes. The Kid Cudi. Yes.
There's so many things that you're like, oh my God, dude, you are a bad person.
Yes.
You're a bad person.
Yes.
There's something bad about you. And I just like every person has a, oh, did you ever work with this guy type story. It's like, it's one of those like badges of honor almost sometimes we're here in the industry where it's like, oh yeah, man, I spent a week with Diddy, man. You know, it was crazy, man.
Speaking of which, let's talk about the Kid Cudi story, because you hear about this first in 2012. Gossip blogs report that Cassie, who was dating Kid Cudi at the time, and Diddy had a fight in a club. And now in the lawsuit, Cassie claims that Diddy, quote, blew up a man's car after he learned he was romantically interested in Ventura. And here's my favorite quote. This is from the Salon.com article. The New York Times said through a spokesperson that Kid Cudi confirmed Cassie's account that his car exploded in his driveway. This is all true, he said.
Oh my God. Yeah,
just a car explosion.
Yeah.
No way to say who did it. Yeah.
Hey man, who knows? I was pissing this one dude off, and sometimes shit happens. You know?
Sometimes shit happens.
Also, like, Cudi's cool.
Yeah. I don't know anything about him, but he's cool and he has one less car than he would otherwise have. We can say that for sure.
So true, Robert.
From the New York Times, quote, Cassie, in her lawsuit, said that Mr. Combs directed frequent freak-offs at high-end hotels around the country, directing her at the events to pour excessive amounts of oil on herself and tell her where to touch the prostitutes while he filmed and masturbated. We're not going to go into a ton of detail about the massive amount of baby oil, but there's a lot of it. Some of it's drugged. And this is how it's being used.
There was a reason why they confiscated like 1,000 bottles of baby oil from his
literally 1,000.
Yeah, it was like there was a reason why that happened. And there was absolutely
to the point where Costco had to come out and be like, "Dog, we don't sell that shit.
Yeah, we
don't sell that
shit.
Yeah. We are not in on that shit."
The only reason I can think of to drug it is because you are getting it inside people in their mucous membranes.
Yes, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Fucking MDMA or whatever isn't going to absorb.
It's not a bodily,
but if you put it in someone's vagina, and so again, it's hideous, right?
Yeah.
We don't need to belabor that point. I think you get it, right? Cassie says in her lawsuit, he treated the forced encounter as a personal art project, adjusting the candles he used for lighting to frame the videos that he took.
Bro's an auteur.
He's an auteur of sex crimes. Yeah. I wonder if he and Epstein ever partied. They certainly had the opportunity.
I don't know, but Trump's the common link, which is hilarious because yeah, of course you say Diddy is a great guy. He's my friend, and also you're best friends with Epstein.
Yeah. In 2018, Kim Porter passes away. The cause of death was initially listed as deferred, but it was later confirmed that she died of pneumonia.
Right.
And there's a lot of conspiracy
be remiss
theories.
To not conspiracy talk. There's a lot of people.
Maybe.
But to be fair, I know King Combs posted Diddy's son. Yeah, Christian
Combs.
He posted that there has never been any question amongst children that his dad was involved in.
People do just
anyway.
die sometimes.
Yes, it's absolutely reasonable to say that people do in fact just die sometimes.
But again, people have also said maybe that death should be looked into, and probably not a bad idea. Take a look.
JFK's head just exploded, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know that. He just did that.
Presidents just do that sometimes. It's a pre-existing condition.
Pre-existing.
In 2017, Diddy changed his name yet again. He told the world he would now go by Love or Brother Love. And apparently,
really?
Yeah,
I didn't know this. No,
a lot of people miss this era.
I knew this. I fucking knew this.
This is the Snoop Lion era of Diddy.
Yeah.
He legally changes his name because Love is his legal middle name. He tells Vanity Fair at the time, "Love is a mission. I feel like that's one of the biggest missions that will actually shift things. But besides that, we, the world, is different. We have the internet. We have the power. We have a culture. I have us on a 5-year plan." First off, fucking talking like Stalin there. Second, that was more than 5 years ago. How'd the plan work out? Did he?
Yeah.
Are we more loving? Did you fix
nailed
it?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
It. Good job, bro.
Fucking Joseph Diddy Beria. Fucking hell. Now, during this period, Diddy's public image remained mostly benign. In articles from...
he named his youngest baby Love, right?
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
It happens with famous people. You see it with Elon Musk and X,
Yeah.
Just name your kids something else.
Steven.
I don't care what you name your kids.
What is wrong with
Steve's
Steven,
fine.
man?
Yeah.
Steve's
Albert.
okay. Albert,
Hans.
you know?
Yeah.
Why we got to be weird about everything?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, in articles from the time he was feted as a genius producer, and interviewers seemed happy to ignore the numerous assault allegations that, were kind of in the shadows, but not too shadowy to have found, and the very public fact that he had definitely killed people through negligence and had them murdered. He even managed to avoid Me Too entirely. In fact, in that interview, he tells Vanity Fair the movement inspired him and, quote, showed me you can get maximum change.
God damn it.
Didn't say a word about his friend Weinstein that he'd been fucking looking for a project with for 7 years.
I mean, honestly, sometimes people are fucking out there doing the, dodgeball equivalent of making it through life, Just like, you can't get me.
He must have felt like, whew, dodged that bullet. Clearly, it's clean sailing from here on out.
Which is crazy because, Sophie will back me on this. The Danny DeCane stuff, they talked about a lot of shit that he did.
Yeah. So much.
Super adjacent.
Yeah.
It's like never sexual assault, but super adjacent.
Yeah, I talked to Robert about this because I
one
told
of the first people,
Aubrey O'Day.
Yeah, Aubrey O'Day comes out for years, like at least a couple of years, saying, I don't think she sees or has evidence. And obviously, you don't want to casually, before all this breaks, call him a sexual. He has a lot of money. He can hurt you, right?
She was vocal about him for so many years.
Yes. She did everything she could.
But also, she said Don Jr. was her soulmate, so people really stopped taking her and had an affair with him. There's a lot of stuff there. So people didn't believe her, but she was fucking right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think one of the most direct things she said in 2022 in an interview on the Call Her Daddy podcast, she said that Diddy had fired her because she, quote, wasn't willing to do what was expected, not talent-wise, but in other areas.
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Brutal. Very clear what that means.
Yeah, and here's another quote from an article. Again, this is before everything breaks in Variety. This is 2019. Called Aubrey O'Day is still recovering from making the band PTSD, and making the band is the reality show that Diddy made.
All of them suffered so much. It's so horrible.
Puff is a very difficult person to work with. Everything had to be perfect. I remember times where he looked at my toenails and was like, what is your third toenail doing? Go get that shit fixed before you walk into a room. Or we would be in rehearsals performing an hour-and-a-half set.
Bitch, you get your toenails correct or I will fucking end you.
I would walk in for 5 minutes with a camera and say, Aubrey, why are you sweating? You look like a wet dog. You're the hot one. So you think anyone wants to see that? And again, this is all pretty minor next to all the horrible sex crimes. But he's a dick too. Yeah.
It's like, you understand, it's like somebody that will go to the lengths of fucking with your third toe. Right. Is like the type of person that will make you feel the worst about who you are. Yeah. It's like,
guys, listen, I distinctly remember a clip from that show where all of them were presented to him and he went one by one critiquing their personal appearance, and the things he said were just
he's horrific.
Horrific and inhumane. Yeah. But specifically, that story's crazy because Aubrey, basically you could even see it in her, morphed into whatever was asked of her, and then he'd tear that down too. So,
to devil's advocate this stupid situation because I hate to do it, but I've been in reality shows for some reason. When you want to hire somebody to pretend to be an engineer in a reality show because all of these people want to be musicians, I get hired to do these stupid reality shows to play myself in a reality show. And so I've had these situations where I see the way it actually goes down. And it is absolutely people pushing the worst narrative. But here's the thing that I think that is really important to understand about it is that some people, their worst is not that bad. In comparative speaking, it's you see them do these they're trying to ham it up for TV and they're not really good at being mean people, right? You can feel the difference between somebody who's capable of actually coming up with shit that makes people feel horrible about themselves, to really be a shitty person towards somebody. And that's the type of thing that you see in this, where it's man, to attack your toes, the way your toes look, to attack these arbitrary things. They know that that's something that cuts deep on a person, that makes them second guess themselves, deep inside themselves,
Yep, absolutely. So about 5 years after saying that he was inspired by Me Too in that article for Vanity Fair, Cassandra came forward with her lawsuit, and she was joined very quickly in a flood of lawsuits. Not all of the people charging Sean with sexual assault are women. We have mostly focused on that, but I want to be very clear that he is alleged of assaulting men too, not just through Cuba. One man currently incarcerated in Michigan for kidnapping and criminal sexual conduct himself says that Diddy drugged and raped him in Detroit in 1997. A judgment was briefly issued on that case, but Diddy's lawyers, because they hadn't appeared in court, unclear to me what happened, But, that's not the only allegation of him abusing a man, too, right? I just want to be clear about that. There's just less of it. Yeah.
It's damn near 50-50 on the ratio on this. It's pretty even. He seems to be an equal opportunity sexual assaulter.
And he's got famous friends who are gay and creeps. Yeah.
Yes.
And there's also just so many allegedly things that have happened that obviously we can't comment as fact right now. But as this trial proceeds, I'm sure a lot more will come out, but there's a lot of grooming allegations as well.
And to be very fair, it would be irresponsible to not mention the amount of people that will jump on a situation because they are themselves shitty people that will jump on something. Oh, this happened to me, because they see the wave and it will give them a tiny bit of respect or money or whatever the fuck. But without a doubt, there is actual allegations that exist inside of this that are
horrifying.
Horrifying and real,
So there are so many of these allegations that we're not going to cover more of them, right? We've done it.
7-parter.
I think this gives you a pretty good understanding of him. And the fact that I've cut out allegations, which I've cut out 2 for every one I've included, says nothing about the legitimacy of those. It's just a space thing. I should say a bit here about Christina Coram. Khorram. She was Combs's chief of staff and is a co-defendant in the Jones lawsuit. We talked about the lady from Oklahoma who was brought into a party and drugged and possibly sexually assaulted and then called by a woman afterwards and threatened. I think there's a decent chance that was Christina Coram. Jones claims that Coram bought a lot of the drugs and actually handled the booking and paying of sex workers for Combs's parties. She was his Ghislaine Maxwell, in other words. And also it's worth noting, again, I keep bringing up that movie that I didn't appreciate as much until this all came out, Blink Twice. The woman who is, there's an older woman who is the creepy sex CEO's fixer, and she's Christina Coram. That's who I didn't realize how directed was.
There is always somebody who is adjacent and willing to use their vulnerability with people, their ability to access the vulnerability of people, that makes you feel it's a woman. I don't have to worry about there was always one of those. There is always one of those every single time.
Yeah. And that's Christina Coram in this story. We'll see what happens to her. Sean Huffy Combs was arrested on September 16th, 2024, several months after the FBI raided his LA mansion and seized firearms, illegal drugs, and more than 1,000 bottles of baby oil. Combs has denied all charges and pled not guilty. More recently, a judge declined to set bail for him, noting that he still posed a danger to the community.
He gets denied bail once a week. Motherfucker tries to get out once a week.
Yeah, he's in the same part of the jail.
Very recently, there's been all sorts of allegations of him, stealing phones or bribing other inmates to let him use their phone time and to intimidate witnesses specifically.
Yeah.
He's already in jail trying to run shit from what they say. So it's not he's just chilling out in there being calm. He is absolutely still trying to run an intimidation game from inside prison.
Yep. And that's the episode, everybody.
Well, I feel really good about money.
Time to go party. Yeah.
I just want to make a lot of money so I can do anything I want. I don't know, man. I'm with you. I think we build an empire, take it to the FDA. We really
take it to the FDA, and that'll save us, and our reputations. We'll die historic, in a gunfight with the FDA.
That's all I want.
That's the way to go down. Yeah,
that's all I
want.
The
dream,
because they say you only die when the last person that remembers your name dies. It's
and every one of those FDA agents has got to remember us
all
forever.
All of their children, all of their children's children. They'll never forget.
Yep. Now we're going to have to start selling supplements first, Wil.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. Do you know what's funny to me, man? Every time I post on TikTok, people will be like, man, you would really like this Behind the Bastards podcast.
Oh, really?
And I always, every time I'm
puked with him.
Do I ever? You know, I know that guy.
So funny.
Yep. So this has been Behind the Bastards, a podcast about a guy I almost named a goat for. Yeah.
It has been a fantastic time. I appreciate the shit out of you, man. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you too, Wil.
Let me hang out and
get very drunk.
Yeah, get extremely drunk while listening to somebody that made me feel icky. Cool.
Yeah.
That's the podcast experience.
So, I hope you at home are drunk or something too, and buddy, and Godspeed.
Behind the Bastards is a production of Cool Zone Media. For more from Cool Zone Media, visit our website, coolzonemedia.com, or check us out on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. Behind the Bastards is now available on YouTube. New episodes every Wednesday and Friday. Subscribe to our channel, youtube.com/@BehindTheBastards.
Hey everyone, it's Emily Simpson and Shane Simpson from the Legally Brunette podcast.
Each week, we're bringing you true crime through a legal lens.
Whether you want all the facts on the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie, or you still need to wrap your head around the Diddy verdict, we're breaking it all down step by step.
And we're not just lawyers, we're also husband and wife. It makes for some pretty entertaining episodes.
Listen to Legally Brunette on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm Heather Dubrow.
And I'm Terry Dubrow.
And we're going to keep this between us.
Not really. The TMZ guy walks up to me and goes, Terry, what do you think about Bradley Cooper? They asked him and they said he's not had any plastic surgery. But I mean, what's the latest rumor? I'm gay, right? Isn't that the latest rumor?
Yes.
First of all, if I were gay, I would be gay.
Listen to Between Us on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Follow Between Us and start listening on the free iHeartRadio app today.
When segregation was a law, one mysterious black club owner, Charlie Fitzgerald, had his own rules.
Segregation in the day, integration at night.
It was like stepping in another world.
Was he a businessman, a criminal, a hero?
Charlie was an example of power. They had to crush him.
Charlie's Place, from Atlas Obscura and Visit Myrtle Beach. Listen to Charlie's Place on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
On June 11th, 1998, a deputy from the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department went missing.
Hey, if they'll kill a cop and bury him, what are they going to do to me?
What really happened to the missing deputy? Valley of Shadows, a new series from Pushkin Industries about crime and corruption in California's high desert.
Listen to Valley of Shadows on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
When you feel uncomfortable, what do you put on?
Biggie.
You put on Biggie when you feel uncomfortable?
Because I want to get confident.
This is DJ Hester Prin's Music is Therapy, a new podcast from me, a DJ and licensed therapist. 12 months, 12 areas of your life. Money, love, career, confidence. This isn't just a podcast. It's unconventional therapy for your entire year. Listen to DJ Hester Prin's Music is Therapy on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
This is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed Human.